Shalom Aleichem, good morning. Welcome and welcome to our viewers on Torah Anytime. Just spend 2 minutes speaking about Torah Anytime. They are having their annual campaign, Yud Tet Shvat, Shvat 19. I'm sure you don't want me to mention the date, February 17th, so I won't. It's on Yud Tet Shvat, that's the real date, especially after we spoke about using the other date just a few weeks ago, or last week. So they're having their annual campaign, and they're really encouraging and suggesting that people contribute at least $1 a day. It's a $1 a day campaign, and I think makes a lot of sense. You enjoy Torah anytime. So many people all over the world, every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, and to spend $1 a day, it's minimal. If people can do more than that, of course, that is strongly advised and much appreciated. You know, many places in the world, there's a minion factory. In Borough Park, in Bnei Brak, in Yerushalayim, all kinds of places. A minion factory.
5 towns.
5 towns. I think Torah Anytime is the biggest shear factory, Torah shear factory in the world, and the biggest distributor of shiurim in the world from the time of Sheshes Yemei Bereshis. Ad Kedei Kach. What they have been able to do since they started is just incredible. And they're so innovative. They're unrolling 2 new features. One of them is just remarkable. They're calling it Tati. Tati, Torah Anytime Intelligence. I think it's more accurate to call it Tati because it's true, authentic Torah intelligence. That's the real Torah intelligence. And what it is a feature on their website or their app that will enable you to ask this little genius inside. Remember that shir I listened to 10 years ago from Rabbi Reuven, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Levi? He was talking about finding something, and he's going to find it to you. This feature is going to find this to you from 10 years ago. Or you can say, summarize the shir that I just heard in 350 words for a level of a 4th grader. Or create 10 questions on the shir that we just heard. It's just incredible what you can do with this. The sky's the limit. And they're also introducing this new feature, a little device the size of a credit card. For those people who want to get away from smartphones, that they'll be able to have everything on this little card to listen to shiurim all day and all night long, 6/24. 354 days a year. Unless it's a leap year, you can add another 30 days to that, except for Shabbos. So it's very, very recommended to participate, to show the great Hakaras HaTov that Klal Yisrael has. Even if you're specifically not benefiting from Torah anytime you're not using it, first of all you should. And even if you don't, but Klal Yisrael owes them. They're involved in the business called Yagdil Torah V'Yadir to the highest level. So it's a great, great, great investment to make. It's a great... if you're in business and you want to invest, it's a great place to get your best return possible. So the campaign is on Yud Tet Shvat, and people don't even need a computer or a smartphone to donate. They can participate by calling. It's 718-540-5722, and you can enter your team ID, which is 1002813. 1002813. 1002813. That is your team ID. The phone number is 718-540-5722. And the team ID is 1002813. I want to dedicate this year for Tzlach Av Ben Zion Ben Dosa, him and his family, for great success in everything they do. Now, with Parashas Beshalach. Mitzvah Hashem, exciting shir. With fascinating insights, revelations, riddles, and we'll see. Mitzvah Hashem more. We've been witnessing in the last few weeks the great miracles Kosher Baruch Hu performed for Klal Yisrael in Yetzias Mitzrayim. The 10 Makos, the splitting of the sea. Which is the greatest? What's the greatest miracle from everything that we've seen thus far? Up to Kriyas Yam Suf, there's going to be more in Chumash Vayikra, Bamidbar, Dvarim, but up to now. The whole story of the Exodus. What's the greatest miracle of them all? What do you say? The Makos, and if so, which one of the plagues? Ki Yam Suf. What do you think? Kriyas Yam Suf. Why is that bigger than Makas Barad?
You say it's more difficult. What you say, Hanossa is more difficult than Kriyas Yam Suf. Like that, it's very, very difficult.
So it's difficult for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to perform something? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the sea, he can't split the sea? It's really difficult for him? It was working hard. How long did it take him?
What's that saying? I'm trying to think of it's more difficult.
You're thinking about the Gemara that appears in Soita Daf Beis and in Sanhedrin Chav Beis and in Psochim. Kasha zivugo shel Adam ki kriyas Yam Suf. That's Soita. Kasha parnasaso shel Adam ki kriyas Yam Suf. As if suggesting it was hard for Kodesh Baruch Hu to split the sea. Very difficult to understand. All the Mefarshim ask, and there's about 5,742 different interpretations because we understand it wasn't difficult for Kodesh Baruch Hu to split the sea. For example, and I think we mentioned that in the past, what does that mean? Kasha zivugo shel Adam, to find a match, or kasha parnasa, to find a parnasa, like the splitting of the sea. What happened in the splitting of the sea? The Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted to split the sea, but the way he set up the system is he wants our involvement. We call it ishtadlus. So the Gemara says in Soita Lamed Zayin, the Shvatim were sitting there and arguing, who's going to jump first? No, you go first. No, I go first. You go first. Nobody did anything. And until somebody doesn't go into the water, Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't split the sea. Until finally Nachshon ben Aminadav jumps in, and he walks in, and the sea still doesn't split. And he walks in, and the water is going higher and higher until he gets to his nose, and then when it all looks like it's over, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu splits the sea. In other words, Kasha zivugo shel Adam. It's so hard to find a match because you can't sit back at home and say, well, anyways, 40 days before Yetziras Avlad, the Baskol came from Shemaim and said, who my match is, so why do I need to do anything? I don't have to go on a date. I don't have to make calls. I don't have to go and make a resume and send to the Shatan. I don't need to. Kasha Parnasa shel Adam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of me. I don't have to do anything for Parnasa. I'm going to say do nothing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send me the money. In that, as if it's hard for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to sister that he's waiting for you. He wants your involvement. Only when you do the first step, when you do Ishtadlus, so then HaKadosh Baruch Hu steps in. So it's hard as if, because he's limited, because he's waiting for us. But the actual thing itself, of course, is not hard. So what's the biggest miracle of them all?
Getting our Amunah to believe.
That's not a miracle.
Right?
That's not a miracle.
Certainly.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu performed miracles for us. 10 plagues, splitting of the sea. What was the biggest that he performed?
That they believed.
That is up to us.
But that's still a miracle.
That's not a miracle. If it's a miracle, we shouldn't be rewarded.
You can't touch it. You can't physically see it.
So therefore, you shouldn't be rewarded if it's a miracle. You have emunah, you're rewarded. You don't have emunah, they're going to ask you, how come you didn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu? You saw all the miracles. What's wrong with you? You didn't believe.
That's the miracle, the fact that I'm going to believe in it.
So if it's a miracle, you should not be rewarded. You're not rewarded for miracles. You're rewarded for effort, for work. It's hard for you to believe, and you still believe, you should be rewarded. So that's not a miracle. The miracle is coming from Shamayim.
I would bet you that the biggest miracle is that the Egyptians followed them after all the gods to go and chase them after its assignment. This is an amazing miracle that someone could steal.
That's the biggest miracle of them all. You're thinking and talking like the Ramban.
Yes.
Word for word.
Uh-oh.
Listen what the Ramban says. "V'chizakti es lev Paro v'radaf achareim." I'm going to harden Paro's heart and he's going to pursue you. Why do I need to do this? Explains the Ramban. Paro was afraid of Klal Yisrael after Makas Bechoros. In fact, earlier, in Perek Yud Beis, Pasuk Lev, Lamed Beis, Paro says, "Uverachtem gam oti, give me a bracha." I realize something is up here. You guys are amazing. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the real deal. He was afraid. He decided, I'm not chasing them. Once they leave him, let Moshe do with them whatever they want. I got to be crazy to go after these people. Then, again, the Pasuk says, Hineni mechazek es lev Paro, v'yavohu acharem. I'm going to harden the heart of Mitzrayim, not only Paro, because when they saw the sea was split. And Bnei Yisrael are walking in it, and it's dry land, like as if it was never wet here. What in the world would they think to go into that's a bit crazy. Listen to the language of the Ramban. Ve'en bechol hamoftim kapele hazeh. And none of the miracles come close to this miracle. V'zeh be'emet shigaon lahem. This is crazy. It doesn't make any sense that they will walk in. However, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did, sikel atzasam v'chizek et libam leikanes bayam. He made them a fool. He made them fools. So they'll agree to pursue Klal Yisrael, and then they could go in and drown in the water. You get 3 points for that. Tap yourself on the shoulder and say, Baruch shekivanti. You did so good. In this riddle, we'll ask you another one.
Then go to the front of the class.
Be careful because you may lose 3 points. In the future, there's going to be a mitzvah to live in a certain place. What is that place?
The mitzvah to live in that place. Gush Katif.
Why?
It's part of Eretz Yisrael. It's not part of Eretz Yisrael.
If you have a source, I'll accept it. Where will there be a mitzvah to live in the future? And don't tell me Eretz Yisrael. Because the mitzvah applies now. You're doing a mitzvah right now when you live here. Where is there going to be a mitzvah to live in the future? In Mitzrayim. Shh. Did you look at my papers before we started? Another 3 points. Moira dika chidish. Chsam soifer. Tap yourself again, the other shoulder, and say, Baruch shekivanti, this time to the Chsam soifer. Listen to the Chsam soifer.
It's his birthday, I think.
Chsam soifer. If it's his birthday, so the Ben Yoyada in Brachos Daf Chavches says, on one's birthday he has a special mazal, a stronger mazal. That's why Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that's why the Gemara is in Brachos Chavches, was appointed to be a Nasi when he was 18 years old. Because it was his birthday and one's mazal is strong. That's why there's a Gemara in Yerushalmi in Rosh Hashanah that Amalek used to take soldiers to fight, not the best trained soldiers, the most fit, the best snipers, those soldiers who had a birthday on the day of battle, because their mazal is very strong. Not necessarily that applies to us, Reb Chaim told me, because there's a goyim who says that's anything to do with you, but you have a strong mazal today, so if you don't mind, you'll give us a bracha at the end of the shir. Some Sofer says, and it stems from this pasha, there's an issue to go and live in Mitzrayim. That's what's surprising about this. Not only is it not Eretz Yisrael, but there's an issue to live there. The pasuk says, Ki asher re'isem et Mitzrayim hayom. You saw Mitzrayim today, lo tosifu lir'oisam od ad oilam. Here in Parashat Shoftim, 3 times we mentioned this in the Torah, don't go living in Mitzrayim. Says the Chasam Sofer that the issue is only if you go there to become a permanent residence. But if you go for business, if you go just for traveling, you always wanted to take a small vacation in Cairo for some reason. That's fine. And in fact, he says we know many tzaddikim who used to go to Egypt to see the places where Kodesh Baruch Hu performed miracles for Klal Yisrael, and they praised the Kodesh Baruch Hu and blessed him. Continues the Chasam Sofer and Drushim ve'agazos, Chasam Sofer, Daf, Sam, Eches, Amud, Aleph, and he writes, Le'asid lavo in the future, when we will conquer Egypt, Kulo yiyeh mekudosh. The entire place will be sanctified, and it will be a mitzvah to live there. So lichor, it's not exactly what we said before, because it's not outside Israel. Now we're conquering it, and we're making it part of Israel. But again, it's a tremendous chiddush, and you already have 6 points. Let's see what you're going to do in the next riddle. But we're not asking that riddle. We're asking a different question. Hashem yilachem lachem. Hashem will fight for you. Ve'atem? That's so strange. Hashem will fight for you. You shall remain silent. Really? HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to daven? At least daven. I don't want you to fight. Don't worry. I can do it on my own. Stand and daven. Since when? When do we ever hear that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, no, davening? No, you probably have better things to do. Don't fight. Don't daven. Just remain silent. Strange. Great chiddush from a Targum Yonasan ben Uziel on this pasuk, as well as the Targum Yerushalmi, and they both say, this was said, there are 2 groups in Klal Yisrael, and this was said corresponding to one of the groups. One group said, let's go fight them. And Moshe says, no. Hashem yilachem lachem. That's the first part of the pasuk. Hashem is going to fight for you. He's going to win the battle for you. You don't have to do it. There was another group. They didn't want to fight. They said, let's make a lot of noise and confuse the army's soldiers. We'll show them. And corresponding to them, Moshe said, no. Ve'atem, and you, shall remain silent, and instead, praise Ribono Shel Olam and daven to him. So we always thought, Moshe says, don't fight, and be silent, in other words, don't daven. No! He's saying, of course you daven. If you thought yelling is going to do something, in other words, that's part of your war effort, no, Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't need you. He's going to fight for you in the battle. He's going to win for you. You just stand here and praise Ribono Shel Olam, daven to him, sing to him. It's exactly the opposite of what we always understood. easiest way to merit Chayei Olam Haba. Pilei Pilei Ploi, Rabbeinu Ephraim. The pasuk in our pasha, Yudaled, Yutes, says, Vayisa Amud He'anan. There is Rashi Tevos, but there's also Soife Tevos. So we look at the last letter of each of these three words. Vayisa Amud He'anan. What does it spell out? Vayisa is Ayin, Amud is Daled, He'anan is Nun, and that's Eden. Says Rabbeinu Ephraim, anyone who knows this name, Eden, a holy name, and knows how to use it with purity, but does not use it, Muvtach, he has assured, Shezoiche, he will merit Olam Haba. Pilei Ploi. Learn the name. Know how to use it with purity, don't use it there. And you're good to go. Muvtach, he's assured he goes to Olam Haba. Chiddush. What, the Olam Haba? The Eden or the assured?
To use it with purity.
You can use the Kodesh Baruch Hu's name when in dirty places, when a person himself is not pure. Know how to use this unbelievable koyach in the name of Hashem, one of the holy names, but don't use it. And just this knowledge itself acquires you a share in the world to come.
How do you use it?
What's that?
How do you use it?
Slowly but carefully. You have to ask Rabbeinu Ephraim. You have to go to Rabbeinu Ephraim's kever. I don't know where that is. And daven for Siyat Dishmaya to understand how to use that name. Tremendous chiddush. Not less of a big chiddush. Psikta de Rav Kahana Piska Yud Aleph. Rabbi Yochanan was darshaning. What exactly happened when the sea split and the water suddenly stood up like two pillars? What exactly did it look like? And Rabbi Yochanan explained that it formed walls, but it looked like bars. I guess like this. Serach Bas Asher was there. And she says, Rebbe, no. I was there. I remember. It's not like you were explaining. It was like a wall with windows. What's the chiddush here? Serach Bas Asher, I thought you died a long time ago. First of all, Serach Bas Asher never died. She's one of the lucky ones that actually walked to Gan Eden without dying. It's the Medrash says. But you're talking about around 2,000 years. Now, this lady is about 2,000 years old. We don't know exactly when she was born. But she's arguing with Rabbi Yochanan. And she's, Rebbe, you're wrong. I was there. I saw it. You got it all wrong. But just the pele that Serach Basher speaks to Rabbi Yochanan, it's in Psikta Rav Kahana. Not less surprising. Megillah Daf Yud Amud Beis. Again, Sanhedrin Daf Lamed Tes Amud Beis. Chazal say, when the Egyptians were drowning, about to drown, Kosher Baruch Hu split the sea, the Malachim wanted to sing Shira. And the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, Maise Yadai Toivim Bayam. My creatures are drowning and you want to sing? What's wrong with you? Both of my Mepharshim ask, wait a second. If it's time to sing, everybody should be singing. Klal Yisrael and the angels. If it's not time to sing, no one should be singing. Not the angels and not Klal Yisrael. But you see that right after that, Klal Yisrael sing, and the Kodesh Baruch Hu apparently likes it. No, but you can't sing Malachim. Why not? I think we mentioned a different one idea last year. But Chanukah Satori has a different one. He brings a Gemara in Sanhedrin, Sadi Hei Amud Beis. When Sancheriv came with his army to conquer Yerushalayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu opened the ears of the soldiers to be able to listen to a very high level frequency called the Shira of the Chayos, certain form of like angels up there, and they all died. How many were there that they died? 185,000 guys didn't get up in the morning. So Chizkiah gets up in the morning and he looks to the right, looks to the left, and there's 185,000 dead soldiers. From what? From the sound of the songs upstairs. So here, in the splitting of the sea, the Malachim wanted to do the same. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no! We always read it wrong. We always thought it says, Maise Yadai Toivim Bayam, the Egyptians are drowning and you want to sing? That's not what it says. Not Maise Yadai Toivim. Maise Yadai Tib'u Bayam. They drowned my people, the Jewish people. They threw the babies into the Nile. They drowned Maise Yadai. Maise Yadai refers to the Jews. The Gemara in Masechet Ksubis, Darshan's a pasuk. Ma'aseh Yadav Magid Harakia. That refers to Klal Yisrael. These guys drowned my people, and you want them to die a sweet death by listening to the beautiful music of the Chayos of the Malachim upstairs? No! I want them to be a measure for measure in the world, and they should drown in the water. Don't kill them by singing. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu said no singing now. Not that you can't praise. Of course you can praise the Ribbon Shalom and sing to him all the time. But this is going to kill the Egyptians, and they're not supposed to die a sweet death like that. They're supposed to die a torturous death. Which one? Drowning in the water, corresponding to what they did, drowning my people in the water. Gewaldig. Chanukah Satoira. Rabbi Shua Eshel of Krakow about 450 years ago. Another amazing medrash about Shir HaSayam. Eicha Rabba, Parashat Daled, Oistes Vav, the medrash says, Chazal describe the tfilos of some of the kings of Israel. Asa, King Asa, was the great-grandson of Shlomo Melech. Yehoshaphat was his son. Chizkiah was 8th generation to Yehoshaphat. And Chazal say, Asa davened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and said, I don't have koyach to kill my enemies, so I'm only going to pursue them. And you do HaKadosh Baruch Hu the rest. You kill them. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, fine. I'll do as you wish. Yehoshaphat, his son, he stood and he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't have koyach to kill my enemies. I don't even have koyach to pursue them. So you know what? I'm going to say Shira. I'm going to sing. You take care of my enemies. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, fine. I'll do as you request. Chizkiah stood and he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't have koyach to kill my enemies, nor to pursue them, not even to say Shira. I'm going to sleep on my bed and you take care of my enemies. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, good, I'll do exactly as you said. And when he got up in the morning, as we said, 185,000 soldiers are dead. Maybe we can still understand Asa and Yehoshaphat's prayers. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't have koyach to kill my enemies, maybe even to pursue them. At least I'll sing to you. You do some form of ishtadlus. But Chizkiah? You really? You don't have koyach to say Shira. Some people go and sing all day long when they're not requested. All day long you find them singing. Sometimes they're not even aware, but they're singing. They're walking and they're singing. They're humming all day long. You don't have koyach to sing to Ribono Shel Olam? What does that mean? Comes Reb Chaim Zaychik, Shiva of Novardok, and he explained. These kings didn't want this feeling, this thought, to sneak to their hearts and minds. That maybe I'm also partners with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. I have some association and some koyach. And because of that came my success. In other words, Chizkiah will think, well, because of me, they came to this valley. They didn't come on their own. They came because of what I did before. Well, I also have some shaykhus to this. They wanted to make sure it's all about the Ribono Shel Olam. So Chizkiah goes much more than anyone else, and he says, you know what, I'm not going to sing because maybe then I'm going to even think that in my shaykhus, shira, something I belong. I don't. So I'm going to sleep on my bed as if I am paralyzed. I have zero koyach. It's all in your hands, Ribono Shel Olam. And then when success comes, chas v'sholom, I'm going to say, well, I have 5%. 7% of the hatzlacha, I have 0. It's all about you, Ribono Shel Olam. But it doesn't end there. Another medrash, Shmois Rabbah, Chav Gimel Daled. Az Yashir Moshe, says the medrash, from the day HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world until Klal Yisrael stood there at the sea, no one sang to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Adam Arishon did not sing, even though he was just created by HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Avraham Avinu was saved from the fire in Ur Kasdim. He was saved from the war with the kings, and he did not sing. Yitzchak Avinu was saved from the knife on the altar. Akedah Yitzchak, and he did not sing. Yaakov Avinu was saved from the minister of Esav, who fought with him, from Esav himself, from the people of Shechem, and he didn't sing. However, when Klal Yisrael came to the sea, they started singing, Az Yashir Moshe Bnei Yisrael. Why didn't Avos HaOlam sing? If it's appropriate, if it's the right thing to do, why didn't they sing? Avraham Avinu, He was saved. Yitzchak was saved. Well, what's wrong with him? Avraham Avinu said, if I'm going to sing, people are going to say, well, of course he's singing. Because he was saved. He should have been consumed in fire. So he really wasn't crazy about this idea of Mesirus Nefesh to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is happy about his own survival. He's benefiting from it. Yitzchak Avinu said, if I'm going to sing, people are going to say, oh, he's so happy, he didn't have to be shechted on the Mizbeach. It's about himself. So he didn't sing. Yaakov Avinu says, if I'm going to sing, people are going to think that I'm attributing some of my atzlacha because afterwards I fought with the angel. So it's not HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm also shaykh. I'm not 50%, but I'm also shaykh. I'm involved. But when Klal Yisrael stood there and they decided to sing, no one in the world can think, including themselves, we have anything to do with this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea. Where HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea, nothing to do with Klal Yisrael, the Egyptians decide to walk in the path that HaKadosh Baruch Hu paid for them. And as soon as they go in, and all the water come on them, they all drown. It has nothing to do with Klal Yisrael, and therefore when they sing, they cannot attribute any part of the success to themselves, and therefore that's the perfect, the ultimate shira, and that is the Yetzias Mitzrayim that we mention every single day. We mention it twice a day in Kriyat Shema. We mention it when we put our tzitzis on. We mention it when we look at the mezuzah and kiss the mezuzah. We mention it when we put the tefillin on, and that's inside the tefillin. So when we do that, we are again connecting to the idea that it's all from the hands of Ribbon Shalom. We have nothing to do with it, and that's the ultimate type and form of Shira. Another riddle.
They were saved.
They were saved, but it has nothing to do with them. Avraham Avinu did something. He is going for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm willing to go into the fire for you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when he is saved, so maybe he's regretting, maybe he's not so excited about the idea of Mesirus Nefesh. I know you got to do it, but L'maaseh, I'm very happy that I'm still here. It's not about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Klal Yisrael, we're not commanding the Mesirus Nefesh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea. Here, guys, it's all dry. You can walk in, and they did. No Mesirus Nefesh. So they can't attribute any of the success to themselves, and that's where it's different. There is a pasuk in the Torah, Chamisha Chumashim. The same pasuk appears in the Navi. The same pasuk appears in the Ksuvim with one minor difference, but it's basically the same pasuk. The pasuk from the Torah you say every single day. The pasuk from the Navi you say only once a week. The pasuk from the Ksuvim you say every month. What pasuk is it? Same pasuk. Oziv Ezim Askar. Hashem Ve'il Yeshua is the pasuk from the Navi that you added one word. It appears in the Ksubim in the Torah without Hashem. Oziv Ezim Askar Ve'il Yeshua. The first time is in our Pasha. Oziv is, maybe that's the reason I asked this today. Oziv Ezim Askar Ve'il Yeshua you said every single day. Sukkot Ezima. The pasuk from the Navi in Ishaya. Oziv Ezim Askar Hashem Ve'il Yeshua you say once a week. When? Tomorrow night, Havdalah. And the pasuk from the Ksuvim, pasuk from Tehillim Kuf Yud Ches, you say once a month, Oziv Ezim Askar in Halel, Rosh Chodesh. Combined 2 points here. This is a tough one. Why is Paro called Paro? What was his father thinking when he called him Paro? And I don't think his father was actually thinking this. But Rabbeinu Ephraim reveals to us all kinds of secrets. Paro is called Paro because the pasuk in our parsha says Yamincha Hashem nedari b'koach Yamincha Hashem tiratz oyev. What's tiratz? What's tiratz? Crushes the enemy. Tiratz is the same letters as saras. Taf resh ayin tzadi is saras. And what does the pasuk in Vayikra Yud Gimel Mem Hey say about saras? Veroisho yihyeh parua. Since Paro got Tzaras, Roisho has to be Parua, and therefore he's called Paro. Rabbeinu Ephraim on the Torah. You all know this pasuk, so please help me to complete it. Tipol aleim e mashav afachad. Bigdol zoacha. Bigdol Zuacha? It's the first time that I actually heard people saying it correctly. Don't want to say numbers, statistics. Go out and ask people, and you'll be amazed. The reason I'm saying is because I realized that I've been saying it wrong for so many years. I saw something from Reb Soya Diblaisky Zatzal, a giant of all giants, and he was medactic, and he's 100% right. When he said, B'idol Zroacha, Yidmu Ka'aven, what does the word Yidmu mean? Yidmu means they will resemble a stone. That's a mistake. That's Shva Nach, Yidmu. They will resemble, they will look alike, they'll have the same appearance. That's not what we're asking. Yidemu, it's a Shva Na, which means they should be doimem, inanimate object, like a stone. If you say B'idol Zroacha Yidmu Ka'aven, you made a mistake. It's totally not what the pasuk means. In other words, two people can look alike, but they don't behave in the same manner. Two people can look totally not like each other, but they are identical in the way they behave. We don't care about the Egyptians or my enemies looking like a stone. I don't need them to look like a stone if they can still come and fight me. I want them to be inactive. I want them to be inanimate. Doimim, like a stone. And therefore you must pronounce it Yidemu, Shvana, Yidemu. They should be doimem, like a stone. Baruch Hashem, in this place people are saying it right. What's that? I know. Baruch Hashem, Gevaldik. But you'll be surprised to know how many people, also Sephardim, say it wrong, especially Israelis who know Hebrew, because we just see the pasuk, Yidmu. That's what it says. It's not. It's two different words. They have two different meanings. So you have a chance. It's very important to be medayik here, because we say it every single day in Tefillah, Psukei de Zimra. You say it once a month in Kiddush HaChodesh, and you say it once a year in Leining, tomorrow morning. So make sure your Baal Kosher says it right. Yidemu. Ka'aven, not Yidmu. It's Shva Na and not Shva Nach. But since we brought this gives us a chance to speak about other common pronunciation mistakes in davening and elsewhere.
You should correct without Kari?
Sure. It's a different meaning.
Isn't it similar? They should be like a stone,
No, I don't need them to appear like a stone.
Meaning that, in other words, don't we not correct about Kari if what he says is more or less the same? In other words, if it's like if it's similar to a stone, it's a domain.
It's not, no. They may resemble a stone, they have the appearance, the same shape of the stone, but they're very, very not a doimim. I don't want that. I want to be a doimim, whether they look like a stone or not. They can maintain their appearance as a human, but let them behave like a stone, which is inanimate and doesn't come and attack me. This is doimim, this is appearance. Two separate things. I think B'di'evet, if you read it wrong, you don't have to do the whole thing again. But if you hear it, when he says the pasuk, you should say Yidemu. And he will say, that's what I said. No, you said Yidmu. Yidemu. Say it 2-3 times until Chapser, and he's going to correct it. There's no Shem Hashem in there, there's no problem. Fix it. In some exact Chumashim they do, some don't. And some people, even when they do, they just skip. They see the word Yidmu. It's very simple. It's very hard to know the difference between a Shvana and a Shvanach. So other common mistakes that we find. In Avas Oilam, in Ma'ariv, people should be very medayik, especially Ashkenazim, when we say Oyhev Amoy Yisrael, because if you're not medayik and you say it fast instead of Oyhev, you love Klal Yisrael, Chas v'sholom, it may come out as Oyev, enemy. Chas v'sholom. Similarly, when you say Meheira v'yamin, you say Meheira many different places. If you say people are not careful sometimes to make a difference between the Hey and the Aleph. And if you say Me'era, and it comes out as Me'era is a curse. Curse us and do it speedily. Me'era b'yamenu, in our time, chas v'sholom. So you have to be very careful to say Me'era with a Hey. Because Amazon.
Many and Amava who used to pronounce
The Gemara in Pesachim speaks about different pronunciation mistakes. In some places, people can't say certain letters because of where they came from. Hanach leim liYisrael. Instead of saying v'diglo alai ahava, v'dilugoi alai ahava, when we make a mistake. But we know lechatchila and we can correct things, we have to make sure that we do it right.
Many Israelis don't pronounce the head, they say Uamar. Instead of saying Huamar.
Right. So you have to make sure. So that's not a big deal because you're not cursing me. But when you say instead of meheira, you say me'era, that's terrible. So especially when you say it fast, and if you're not clear and you're not careful about it, you can chas v'shalom take completely the opposite meaning of what I want. Or totally take it out of context, or have no meaning whatsoever, as we'll see. Birkas Hamazon and Psukim Dezim Mashal Shabbos we say it as well, Perek Lamed Daled in Tehillim. I want to sing to you the way we all learned it in kindergarten, how to say the last part of benching. And you'll continue, please, with me. Oy se shalom u'mabuya shalom alelo kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Kedoishav, you already made a mistake. I think all the kindergarten teachers, and I hope they're not listening to me now, they all went to that same school, apparently, no matter where they came from, Israel, America, no matter where. And the teacher made the same mistake, the one who taught them. Yiru es Hashem kedoishav, that's not what it says there. There's no chirik under the yud. It's not Yiru es Hashem, Yiru from seeing. It's not about kedoishav, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's tzaddikim will see him. It's a shva. 2 dots under the yud, it's yeru, and the aleph is silent. It's not yiru, they will see, it's yeru. The aleph is silent. Yeru es Hashem kedoishav, yeru. Very important to correct the kids, because if you don't correct them now, they will continue singing it for many, many years in the wrong way. That's not what the pasuk means. Yeru from fear, yira. Yeru, they will fear him. The kedoshim, the tzaddikim, Kodesh Baruch Hu, fear him. That's what the pasuk says. Yeru. No aleph. The aleph is silent, and it doesn't start with a yi. Chirik. It starts with a shva. Yeru. As opposed to Yiru es Hashem kedoshav. That doesn't exist. There is no Yiru, because that's seeing. It's Yeru with a silent aleph. Shva and the yud, a silent aleph.
It makes sense also in saying it to see it, because you say in this world no one can see Hashem, but in future,
Well, I can see where it comes from.
Yeah.
Or I can see maybe it's easier when you're singing it. I don't know why. But it's not what the pasuk in Tehillim that David HaMelech authored says. At the end of Psukim Dezimra, I heard many chazanim, I don't know why, in the last few months, the chazan starts with Ishtabach Shimcha Le'ad Malkeinu. A new word, Le'ad. Never heard of such a thing. There is no shva there. There is a kamatz. So if you're Ashkenazi, you'll say Lo'ad. If you're a Sephardi or Ashkenazi that reads a kamatz like a patach, you'll say La'ad. But Ishtabach Shimcha Le'ad Malkeinu doesn't exist. If you hear that, definitely is something that needs to be corrected. In davening, Nusach Sfard, some Sidurim have the formulation of Refeinu Hashem v'nerafeh, v'ha'aleh what? Arucha u'marpeh lechol tachalueinu. Some say aruka. That means nothing in this context. Aruka means something long, from aruch. But that's not what we're saying here. Arucha is healing. Ha'aleh arucha. Arucha is healing, as a pasuk in Yirmiyah. Madua lo alsa arucha Bas Ami. That's in Yirmiyah Chet Chav Beis. There's another pasuk in Yirmiyah Lamed Gimel, pasuk Vav. The pasuk says, "Hineni ma'alela arucha umarpe." I will heal. So arucha is from healing, not from long. And the Malbim explains Chiddush. Arucha refers to something broken from the outside. Marpe, that's double language. If arucha is healing, why are you saying arucha umarpe? Marpe is an internal disease, internal sickness. The Kodesh Baruch Hu will heal both the inside and the outside. So if you say the wrong word here, or just add one more little dot inside the kaf, and you made arucha into aruka, totally different meaning. In Birkas HaChodesh we say V'titen lanu chaim arukim, long life, longevity. That's not what it says. Some Sidurim have it as arukim, and I even saw some English translations into aruchim in long life. Lichoira, that's not what it means. It should be chaim aruchim, meaning life of healing, for this month. How come he's speaking now about longevity when he's talking about requests for this coming month? As everything else in that bracha. Lichoira is talking about this next month will be a month of healing, a month of my health will be intact. Aruchim, not arukim from length, aruchim from healing.
So the kaf hasn't got the dagger.
Lichoira, it makes more sense according to the majority of Sidurim that I've seen. They have it correct with aruchim, with no dagesh inside the chaf. Moedim, and moedim de Rabbanon for Ashkenazi. Why for Ashkenazim? Moedim anachnu lach. The what? So most people will read it she'ata, because in Hebrew, the way we speak, that's how we're supposed to pronounce it. She'ata, I'm thanking you that you are she'ata. Zanu mefarnos talmud tamid in Birkas Hamazon as well. Moedim. Wherever you see this word she'ata, it's really sho'ata. It's based on the Radak's explanation on a pasuk in Shoiftim Perek Vav pasuk Yud Zayin. He explains why that is. So Ashkenazim stick to the way it is in the Navi. Sfardim change it. Sfardim have no problem. You say she'ata, you're right. But Ashkenazi, if you're reading a kamatz as a patach, you say sha'ata. If you read a kamatz, as a choilam, so you read it sha'ata, or as an o, I'm sorry. So one has to be careful if he's Ashkenazi. If he's Sephardi, he's good to go. Kamatz katan, many people are not careful and they say it wrong. Give you all kinds of examples. There is no word in Hebrew called amnam. It's omnam. Omnam. But if you're not careful with kamatz katan and you see a kamatz and you read it as a patach, as many people do, that's fine. But here it doesn't work because here it's a kamatz katan. A kamatz katan has to be pronounced as an o. So it's omnam and it's gofris, it's korban, and it's nochri, and chofni, and rochbo, and orko, and al kiddush of Friday night, v'Shabbos, not kadshecha, v'Shabbos kodshecha, and it's never chachma. You hear a lot of people say chachma. That's a chachma. It's chochma because it's kamatz katan and people have to be careful. Vayakov, vayamos, vayoshev. And you find it in Yalav Yavo. And you say zochreinu Hashem Elokeinu, not zachreinu. You hear chazanim all the time saying it wrong. Upokdeinu or ufokdeinu. Some sidurim have it with a dagesh in the pay, some without. But it's not ufakdeinu, even if you're Sephardi. It's ufokdeinu. Tachanun. Ozreinu Elokei Yishainu, not Azreinu. There is no word called Azreinu. It's Ozreinu Elokei Yishainu al bar kevod shemecha.
I've never heard it pronounced wrong.
Baruch Hashem, you're davening in the right place. Wherever you're davening, stay there and don't move. You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked.
Kamatz Katan is the long one when you have the distinction between the two, and the Kamatz Gadol is the small one.
So for Kamatz Katan specifically, there's many rules. We're not going to go into a dikduk shir, first of all, because I can't explain it because I don't know it. But there's many rules and many exceptions as well. So first of all, you need to know the words at least that you're saying in davening, because you repeat them all the time, or in benching. But then it's a good idea. It's suggested to go and learn the dikduk and all the exceptions. But these specific words that we say all the time, we need to know how to say them. Another riddle. Parashas Balak, a donkey spoke to a human, right? The donkey spoke to Binam, its owner. Was there ever a horse that spoke to humans? That's a donkey, later on, Bamidbar. You familiar with a horse that speaks to people? Surprising answer is in our Pasha. Shmo Yisrael, Parasha Chav Gimel, Ois Yudalet. The Egyptian would tell its horse, yesterday I was pulling you to give you water, to feed you, and now you're pulling me to drown me? What's wrong with you? And the horse would respond and say, Rama vayam, look what's in the yam. Rumo shel oilam ani roeh bayam. I see HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the water. So the Egyptian horses spoke to their riders, which was a tremendous chiddush, and they're not the only animals that spoke to people. The frogs, not now, Pashas Va'era, they spoke to the Egyptians as well. The Medish, Pasha Tesvav, in Shmo Yisrael ben Ois Chavzayin says that frogs were very difficult for the Egyptians because they would destroy their bodies. How did they destroy their bodies? The pasuk specifically says that they were going to come to your bedroom and to your beds. What do you have to say that? Al mitascha. They were going to come on your beds. I understand they're going to come to your house, to your rooms. What do you have to say the beds? The frogs would make them infertile. Why? It was mida keneged mida. You caused Klal Yisrael to be infertile, so mida keneged mida. That's what's going to happen to you. And the frogs explained themselves. And they said to the Egyptians, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's image is in Klal Yisrael. When a baby is born, it's in the image of God. You want to cancel that image and you want to keep your image around? Guess what? You're never going to have more of your image. In other words, you're not going to have more kids. And that's why they made it infertile. But who says that the frogs spoke to the Egyptians? The Medrash says. That's why the pasuk says, Al dvar hatzfardeim asher sam leparo. Don't say dvar, dibur. That tzfardeim, that frogs talked to the Egyptians.
How did they make infertile? How did they make infertile?
They were misachas them. They went to certain areas in their body and did what they needed to do in order to make sure that they're not going to have any kids anymore. Parashat Saman is all about parnasa, 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 parnasa. Why is it that some people have to travel? They cannot get the parnasa in their local place. They were born here, they live here, but they always have to travel. Otherwise, there's just no parnasa. And some people never have to travel. Parnasa is close to the house. I know everything is Yad Lishma, of course. But why is it? Conceptually, how does it work? You're trying to say the Rishaim? No. Chazal said that tzaddikim opened the door or the window, and the man was right there. Don't have to travel. If you're not such a great tzaddik, you have to walk a few miles. If you're really, really not a big tzaddik, you have to walk many, many miles. But we're not suggesting people. Some people are tzaddikim, but they have to travel. Chai Adam in his Akdama, he writes, "I'm a merchant, and sometimes I have to go to the fair, and I travel. Don't think I'm wasting my time. I'm learning the whole time." Chas v'sholom, we have a problem with the Chai Adam. Chas v'sholom. So why is it that the Chai Adam has to travel? Why do you see a lot of people, they must travel in order to earn a living. And other people will stay home and everything's fine. They live in a certain town, they work in that town, they don't have to start traveling. Why is it?
It's easy to understand if you think about Gilgulim, you know, it's in a...
Then we don't understand. We understand, we don't understand. But without Gilgulim?
If he's a tzaddik, in the Chaydam, where he was going was, he was spreading Torah, he was doing Kiruv, he was doing all kinds of things.
And a person who doesn't spread Torah like a Chai Adam, he's a tzaddik, but doesn't spread Torah. Comes the Arve Nachal in Pashas Ba'aloscha and says a remarkable thing. The Torah is the blueprint to the world. And the Torah has 13 principles that it is darshan with. So the world is darshan in the same principles as way. The same way you analyze the Torah is the same way the world works. Every neshama in Klal Yisrael is connected to a letter in the Torah. Remember, they says 600,000 neshamas, 600,000 letters, and each one is connected to a letter. Sometimes you learn a halacha from a letter, but this letter is not really supposed to be doing here. This letter is not supposed to be in this pasuk, or it's supposed to be here, but it's teaching you something in a different area, in a different parasha, in a different topic altogether. So if your neshama has to be, for whatever reason, it came from that, it's connected to that letter, and it's as if in the wrong place, it teaches us about other things, you're going to have to travel. Because the neshama, it's koyach on the letters of the Torah. And if the letters of the Torah teaches us something about something else in a different area, out of your local pasuk, so that means you're going to have to travel.
You talk about Imeno Indian?
Yeah.
That's good, that. Imeno Indian.
The same idea. There are many times that Chazal say, oh, but there's an extra vav, there's a hekesh, the Gzeir HaShava. But I'm talking about this Indian now. Why are you giving me something from something totally different? Because that's how we darshan the Torah. That's how we darshan it. That's how we darshan the world. And if you come from a different place, from a different pasha, from a different pasuk, you have to start traveling. Nothing you can do against it. That's just the way it is built. It's a remarkable chiddush. In the man that came down from Shamayim, all the different flavors in the world, right? How many flavors, by the way? 546. Shenema, Yalkut Shimon Darshan, this in Shir HaShirim. Upiryo, Masok, Lechiki. The piryo, the fruit, referring to the man, is very sweet to my palate. Matok, Gigimatria, 546 flavors. 5 things we know that it didn't change to. In Pashas Ba'aloscha. Right? The Betzalim, the Shumim, the Avatichim, the Kishuim, 5 things it did not change to. So only 546. And there's something that had more flavors than that. And that's the tree in Gan Eden. Oitzar Midrashim brings 800 different flavors. But the man, we look at it as something that had all the flavors. Great. That leads us to ask a question about food. What's more beneficial to one's body? Not for today, for a long time. You're going to live on this. Pizza, a juicy piece of steak, 7-layer chocolate cake with icing and sprinkles, Doritos, chicken and rice. Again, I'm giving you the list. For a long time, to sustain your body in it. Pizza, juicy piece of steak, 7-layer chocolate cake with icing and sprinkles, a lot. Doritos, chicken and rice.
What's the question?
What food will benefit your body for, what's better for you? What's better for your body? What you will be able to sustain for a long time? What's better for you? Chicken and rice. Pizza. You have a machloikis, major machloikis. Pizza, chicken and rice. עד שיבוא השלישי ויכריע ביניהם. Who's the brave shlishi?
7-layer cake.
7-layer cake. That's not machriya. Then we have a third opinion. Ay. Three-way machloikis. No.
I've forgotten what was the...
Doritos. 7-layer chocolate cake with sprinkles and icing. Juicy steak. Pizza. Chicken and rice.
What's Doritos?
A snack. French fries. Potato chips. Bisli. Switch that for Doritos if you want. You remind me of Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Reb Chaim Kanievsky was once asked, what's the bracha for Bisli? If you grew up in Eretz Yisrael, there's no such thing as you don't know what Bisli is. You went to your friend's bar mitzvahs, you went to Kiddushim, you had kids at home, 8 of them. Oh, Reb Chaim writes, what is Bisli? That's his answer. He didn't know. The chiddush is that he doesn't care. Lichor is supposed to ask, what are the ingredients in this food? Why are you running after the pleasures, the crazy earthly pleasures of the world? Who cares? That was his answer. And not less surprising, he was asked, what's a bracha for burekas? Bureka. What's his answer? Eini yodei amaze. I don't know what that is. Pilei ploi. No, Baruch Hashem. Rabbi Isai, what's the answer?
Did he really not know, or he wanted to make a point?
He didn't know. If he knows, he has to tell you what the bracha is. I don't know what it is.
Wasn't he a little kid and didn't grow up? Wasn't he a 4-year-old? Was he?
No. He was an angel that looked 4-year-old. The Malach Elokim Tzevakois. Kadosh. But he worked on himself to become that. But he worked from a very young age. Pilei ploim of musagim that we have to aspire to. Rabbi said, what do you say? What's the best food out there?
If we look scientifically, which one has protein,
Yeah.
carbohydrates,
Chicken and rice, and that's why you selected it. You think if the answer was so simple, I would ask? No. You got that right.
I hope it's pizza, by the way.
Pizza.
Rabbi Isai, listen to an answer. Mamish unbelievable. Nebuchadnezzar took young kids from all over, he controlled the whole world, and he took them and to get good care of them, to raise them to be his advisors. So he told the person who's appointed to supervise them to make sure he treats them with everything top notch. Give them the best food, whatever it is, doesn't make a difference the cost, the best food only. And do everything the best way. He also took Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And the person in charge of them wanted to give them meat and wine. Whoa. We eat kosher. We don't eat this. So what do you mean? You have to eat this. Nebuchadnezzar told me. He said, no, we only eat seeds. Seeds? The seeds. If you only eat seeds, it's going to decapitate me. What do you mean? I got to give you the best wine and a steak dinner every night. No, we don't eat this. I said, sorry, you're going to have to eat it. So they told me, you know what, let's do a trial. 10 days, test us. Give us seeds for 10 days, you will see. And the Pasuk in Daniel, Perek Aleph, Pasuk Tezvav, says that after this 10-day trial, it was very successful. The Pasuk says, Umixas yamim asara, and after 10 days, Nira mar'ehem, tov uvriyei basar, they looked better and fatter, min kol hayeladim ha'ochlim espas bag hamelech. They looked better and healthier than all the kids who were eating the royal foods that the king gave them. Chiddush. How is it possible? Lemaisa, how is it possible? They ate seeds. And these kids are having the best foods every single day. There's a dietitian who gives them exactly what they need. Morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner, how is it possible? Comes to Ibn Ezra, fascinating revelation. Listen to our language. Kol maichal shehu tava lanefesh. Any food that you really desire, you love, yoiser yoil mimachal she'en hanefesh or heves oto. Will be more beneficial to you, more so than any food that you dislike. והנה אלו, these kids, Daniel, Mishael, Hananiah, Azariah, היו אוכלים דבר שתסעה ונפשם, they wanted to eat the seeds. And therefore, היה מועיל להם, therefore it was beneficial to them. And therefore, the answer to my question, what's better, depends who you ask. You wanted it to be pizza, so because you like pizza more, to you, based on the Ibn Ezra, it will be more beneficial. He likes a 7-layer cake, so for him it's going to be better. I think maybe there's a source to this in the Rambam. The Rambam Hilchos Deos Perek Daled Halacha Kaf writes, he gives you the whole diet of the Rambam, and he says, I guarantee, I'm a doctor, if you do this and you adhere to these principles, you will live to a long age, and you will never have to go see the doctor. Believe me, I'm a doctor. But then the Rambam says, however, if you are used to a totally different diet than this, and it's a terrible diet, don't jump to switch it to my diet. If you want, do so gradually. Because anytime you introduce a change, that in itself could be devastating to the body, because your body adapts. There's adaptation. And you get used to even the junkiest food out there. You see some kids do not eat vegetables or fruits. They only eat junk food, and somehow they're growing. And they're never sick, and everything seems to be fine. Not recommended. We would like them to do everything by the book. But says the Rambam, that's how it works. And the source of the Rambam is Ksubas Kuf Yud that would base in other places, Shas, where Shmuel teaches us, and Shmuel was a doctor as well. Shinui Veses, Tchilas Choli Me'aim. As soon as you change something, that in itself can cause the weakening of an immune system and can cause one to become sick, and it's a chiddush.
So what you're really saying is whatever you like is good for you?
I'm quoting the Ibn Ezra. I'm not quoting the dietitians or current scientific data that we have. The Ibn Ezra says a food that your soul desires will benefit you more so than a food that you dislike. That's the language of Ibn Ezra. Quote.
Steaks aren't good for you.
I thought 7-layer chocolate cake is also not good for you. The Ibn Ezra says if you love that and you desire it, it's going to be more beneficial than that which you don't like, that your nefesh doesn't like. That's the language of Ibn Ezra. If it wasn't a big chiddush, I wouldn't bring it.
That's why also to mitzvahs. For example, most people here do Kiddush on Shabbos morning on wine or grape juice. But if you prefer whiskey, then that's probably better for you to do Kiddush on whiskey.
You're talking into the realm of halacha. We're talking about what's good for your body.
We've also,
That's a different topic.
How to intertwine.
We're asking what's going to be more beneficial to your body, not what you should prioritize as far as prioritization of brachos and chavivos. We're not talking about that. The Pasuk says, the Psukim say in our Pasha, Hayom tochlu, Hayom tochlu, Hayom tochlu. 3 times you should eat, referring to Shabbos, and from here we learn 3 meals on Shabbos. Since there are 3 meals on Shabbos, also Melav Malka. So I just want to bring what the Kaf HaChaim brings in Simin Shin in Or HaChaim. Very chashuv to know this about Melav Malka. Even if a person is satiated, he doesn't want to eat now. He just finished eating the 3rd meal. However, he should be doichek himself, should push himself to eat Melav Malka. And if he does so, and with that he will be saved, that he won't have to ingest other things called medicine. If you ingest the Melav Malka, the mitzvah food, you won't have to ingest other bitter food called medicine. The Kaf HaChaim, he brings in Simin Shin, Ois Dalet, and Ois Tes, and he adds and he says, one who doesn't honor the Seuda of Motzi Shabbos, Melav Malka, that Melav Malka Suda will not have koyach to illuminate the weekday meals. I think what he's referring to is the Zohar. The Zohar says a fascinating thing. The first meal on Shabbos refers to Sunday and Monday. It gives koyach to Sunday and Monday. The second meal of Shabbos gives koyach to Tuesday and Wednesday. And Shalishudes gives koyach to Thursday and Friday. So if somebody, and that gives koyach to Parnasa for the week, it sustains the week. Just like the food sustains your body, the food somehow, but Derech Min HaDrachim sustains your Parnasa. So if somebody has a business and he sees nobody comes to his store on Thursday and Friday, check Shalishudes. Nobody comes on Sunday and Monday. You don't have any business. Clients don't come. Check the Friday night meal. Maybe you're doing something wrong with it. You're not honoring, you're not doing something in the way you're supposed to be doing. So he is saying something else. The Melav Malka will not have koyach to illuminate the meals one eats on a weekday. That's a tremendous chiddush.
Motzei Shabbat, mezunot and a hot cup of tea is good enough, or must be Birkat Hamazon?
Preferably pot. If one cannot have or does not have, or for whatever reason he not going to, so then Vezoinus. And if he can't, there's a prioritization list. Simin Shin. But pot is the right thing to do. And in Shabbos Kuf Yutes Amud Beis we learn Chamin b'motzei Shabbos milugma. Pat chama b'motzei Shabbos milugma. Hot bread on motzei Shabbos is a refuah for the entire body. Milugma is refuah. Chamin b'motzei Shabbos, to drink something hot on motzei Shabbos or to bathe in hot water, is refuah for the entire body. The Kaf HaChaim also brings a remes to that. Milugma. It's a refuah. For what? For what exactly? For what type of a disease? Mechabesh le'atzvoisam. What's we say in Psukkah de Zimra? Mechabesh le'atzvoisam. What's mechabesh? Rashi Tevos. Chamin b'motzei Shabbos milugma. What's atzvoisam? Sadness, depression. So dafka, that hot baked food or hot beverage you're going to have on motzei Shabbos is a refuah for being sad, depression. Chamin b'motzei Shabbos milugma. Mechabesh is chamin b'motzei Shabbos milugma. It's a refuah for what? La'atzvoisam, the pasuk says, for being atzuv, for being sad.
Pizza counts?
If it's hot, sure, especially if it's a moitzi pizza, of course. Kaf Chaim. That it's dafka refuah for etziv, for sadness.
So every meal is good for the 2 days of the week. So the Malka is for...
The Malka is overall for the meals of the week. It will not illuminate the way it's supposed to, the weekday meals, if you don't do everything right on Motzei Shabbos, if you don't honor that meal. I'm sure you're familiar, there's a food called bacon bits.
Bacon bits.
You know what that is? Faking bacon. It's like putting croutons in a salad. So you put little pieces of bacon in your salad. Crunchy, nice, cute. Is it kosher? And if you see a kosher symbol on it, should you pursue going and buying it and eating it? Or is it something one should avoid? And it's not limited to bacon bits. It's anything like that. You're trying to imitate something which HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, stay away! I found a way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
By a sign.
It's a fake crab also.
Fake crab.
And crab is fish.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, yucky, get it out of here. I don't want you in your kitchen. I don't want this in your kitchen. And you say, fine. But I found a way.
We have the Rambam.
I have a question for you. Are you allowed to have a tattoo?
No.
Would you mind if your kid walks around with a sticker of tattoo? And everybody thinks, oh, look, Jewish kids with tattoo. It's not, look, it's a sticker. Would you like it? I don't think so. Why not? What's the problem? It's a sticker. You're not allowed to put a sticker? What's the problem? Are you allowed to have a Buddha? Are you allowed to have a Buddha? Can you make something which is like a Muda? Imitation Buddha. Would you like it? It's not the real deal. What's the problem?
No, there's a Rambam, right, which says that we shouldn't say that, oh, that's disgusting, that...
Why is that Rambam? It's Yalkut Shimoni, Medrash.
Or whatever it's from. I don't know what it's from. But we see that. But Hashem said no, so we can't. So if Hashem said yes, mashma, we should enjoy it.
Hashem also said yes to a tattoo sticker. Did you ever hear HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying no to the sticker? No. So it's yes. If it's yes, why not?
I wouldn't differentiate between...
Do you have a problem with this? Is it bothering you, the sticker?
It's not great, yeah.
Why not? So the bacon is not great, but you're allowing me. I'm asking if it's really not great, if it's asu, if it's mutar lechatchila.
Yeah, because it's domel issa.
And the sticker is a doime, so this is doime. So now you don't like it.
No,
What's the difference?
That's what's irking me, but... Mitzad, I don't know, I think that it's...
I think if all the ingredients are kosher, so it's kosher. But I'm asking you, would you stay away from it or not?
You're talking about the look
The
of the food or
I
the
would
flavor?
You are calling it fake chazir. Oh, great. I always wanted it.
You're bothered by what we
think
call it,
Hashem
the
wanted-
look or the flavor? Let's just stop the flavor.
The look.
Either the looks, or the flavor, or all of them.
The look and the taste.
I would think that, yes, Hashem would want us to enjoy the food. That's
What's wrong with the sticker? Show me the chiluk between the sticker and that.
The food, someone gets hana from it on his...
I like the sticker, I get enough from it. You want to tell me what to have enough from? Muda. Fake Buddha.
It would not just that, it's also good for him. It would actually be more beneficial than pizza, if you like it.
Only if you desire it, but you're not going to desire it until you taste it and you know what it's like. So stay away, you're not going to desire it.
And if it's hot, then it's
They used to call it California salad.
Is it similar to Naval B'Shut Torah?
That's what I'm asking. I know all the ingredients are kosher. You took only the highest kosher. No problem. But what is this? How do we view this?
It's a fish, isn't it? It's supposed to have that taste of non-kosher meat. So it's like...
Did the mother of the fish, when producing the baby, call it fake chazir? I'm going to produce now. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a fish called shibuta.
I think we get confused between people, someone eating that maybe it looks alike as well.
So put a little sign. I'm only eating shibuta.
Stay away from other roads, so to speak, and kind of, this is playing with fire a little bit, saying it's
So you don't like it.
Hashem said no, so why do you have to take the fake one?
That's what I'm asking. He says, why not? Why not? L'chatchila, it's kosher. What do you want from me? I have enough of it.
It's a domain, so it's no good.
You don't like it.
No.
That's what he said. The Chidah in Chulin Kuftes Amud Beis, and again in Choimas Anach in Pashas Be'aloisra, Ois Vav says, I was asked when Klal Yisrael had the man falling from Shamayim, and they can change it, we said before, into 546 different flavors, was Chazir one of them. If you want to have a steak dinner or a pizza or the 7-layer cake we mentioned before, you can. You can change, we're saying, 7-layer cake. Can you change it to Chazir? Will it change to Chazir?
Yes.
Why are you saying yes?
Because Rashi says that when it lists the kishurim and all the different things, because these are the only 5 things that are bad for a nursing woman, they can't change. And everything else could.
Lichoira, but the Chidah used it exactly the reverse. Pashas Be'aloisra, and that's where he plugged it in Choy Masanach. The pasuk says that the man did not change into 5 things. Avatichim, kishuim, betzalim, shumim. No. Why? Rashi says it's not good for nursing ladies. It's not good for the baby. So Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't want to harm the babies. It's not going to change. Says the Chidah, you see, it doesn't change to every single thing. So maybe it also didn't change to an unkosher fish, to a chazir. He's using it exactly the opposite. You see, it's not 100%. It's limited. And we said before, it's limited to only 546 flavors, when in Gan Eden there was 800 flavors. That's dependent on the machlokes in Yuma Ayin Hey. When the man changed to steak, did it really become a steak? Or only it was a man, but it had a flavor steak? Nafkamina? What bracha you have to say in it? If it changed into bread, it's a moitzi. If it's changed into scrambled egg, it's only a shehakol. If it's always man, it's always the same bracha. It's just you have different flavors in it.
That's what's going on. Yeah, the bacon bits, that's the flavor. Same thing.
And therefore, says the Chidah, he answers based on the Gemara in Chulin Kuftes Amud Beis, and that's why he plugs it in Petach Enaim on that Gemara. Petach Enaim is the Chidah. I'm sorry, he brings from the Chidah in Chulin Kuftes Amud Beis. Fascinating Gemara. Amar le Yalsa le Rav Nachman. Yalsa, the wife of Rav Nachman, says to him, you should know, Kol ma de'asar lan Rachmana, shara lan kavase. Everything Kodesh Baruch Hu says no, he left us a sample which is kosher. Exactly the same thing corresponds to it, so you know what that is. For example, you're not allowed to have blood, but you're allowed to have liver. What's in the liver? Congealed blood. It's the same flavor as blood. So you're actually having blood. You're allowed kosher, no problem. You're not allowed to have chazir, but Kodesh Baruch Hu made a mochad de shibuta. Shibuta, Rashi explains, a big fish. Mochad de shibuta, the brain, the head of this fish, has the flavor of chazir. Gilson Yalkut Shimoni says that the tongue of this fish has the taste of chazir. So Yalta keeps going and gives him a list of things which are asur in the world, not just food, all kinds of things which are asur, but there is a sample of it, a comparable thing, which is muta. So she says to her husband, Reb Nachman, I want to eat meat and milk together. Can you find me that sample which is kosher? And Reb Nachman says, yeah. He goes to the kitchen, he says to the people there, make for my wife, I want you to roast some udder. What is udder? What's inside? It's milk and meat together. Kosher. You see from the fact that she wanted to have something which is permissible, even though it has the taste of something which is not kosher, mutar lechatchila. She wanted, Rav Nachman accommodated her. That means it's mutar lechatchila. Another raya. Tzofnas Pa'aneach brings a raya from a Gemara in Sanhedrin, Nun Tes Amud Beis. Reb Shimon bar Chalafta have ka'azle be'ocha. Reb Shimon bar Chalafta was traveling, and he gets to this very narrow path, and it's on the mountain, and suddenly 2 lion cubs appear in front of him, and they start roaring. Obviously, they're very, very hungry. He looks to the right, there's nowhere to go, he's going to fall. Side of the mountain, it's a cliff. He looks to the other side, left, nowhere to go. And the lions are much faster than him. What is left to do? Lift up your eyes and say, Kodesh Baruch Hu, Tehillim, Baruchi Nafshi, Kuf Dalet, Pasuk Chaf Aleph, Hashkfirim shoyagim lataref, ulevakesh mekel ochlam. The lion cubs are roaring, they want to eat. Please. Miracle from Shamayim. 2 gigantic pieces of meat fall down from Shamayim. The lions jump on these pieces of meat, they eat, they turn around, and they're hungry, and they're satiated, and they leave. But then Reb Shimon bar Chalafta looks down and says, oh, this is interesting. They didn't touch one piece of meat. They both ate one piece of meat, but they left the other. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't do a miracle for no good reason. Time to increase the size of the miracle. Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't do that. Why would a Kodesh Baruch Hu send 2 pieces of meat if they only needed 1? He probably wants me to take this piece of meat to Beis Medrash and to find out what is the halachic status of meat that came from Shamayim. So he does. He goes to the Beis Medrash and he says, Rebbe, what are you not going to believe what happened today? 2 pieces of meat. 1 was eaten by the lions. I have another one. What is this? Is this kosher? Obviously there was no shchita ever. I don't even know what it is. Is it kosher? And they tell him you should know a concept, a rule. Ein davar tameh yored min hashomayim. There's nothing impure, nothing not kosher that comes from Shamayim. Comes Rabbi Abau, comes Rabbi Zera and asks Rabbi Abau, and what if it would be a donkey? You would say the same thing? A donkey came from Shamayim. No need shchita, you can eat it, no problem. What do you mean? Nothing impure comes from Shamayim. Rabbi Abau answers him in a very harsh way. He used a certain language I don't want to repeat. And he says to him, didn't you hear what we said? Ein davar tameh yored min hashamayim. There's nothing impure that comes from Shamayim. And Rashi adds, im yarad tahor hu. And if something impure like a donkey came down, it is pure, you can eat it. You see that when you have a miracle food coming from Shamayim, it's called man, it's not called donkey. You can change it to anything because this is miracle food. It's something coming from Shamayim. Ein davar tameh yored min hashamayim. So, says the Chida, this thing from Shamayim, except for those 5 things that it did not turn to, it can turn to anything you want, including chazir, including a donkey. Chanukah Satorah says something different. In Yalkut Shimon im Kedosh, he remes Taf Reish Chavav, and that's the source somebody brought. The Medrash says, a person should not say, chazir, I don't want to eat chazir, it's disgusting. No, rather you should say, my neighbor eats it and he loves it. He says it's the best thing out there. I would love to have it. But what can I do? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to. When you're disgusted by it, how much are you rewarded with abstaining from it? They're going to give you something because Lamaisi you didn't eat it. But when you really want a desire, you have a desire to eat it and you don't, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said no, now you should be rewarded. Mimele. So why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do this? Says the Chanukah Satorah, he left us a sample of all these things which are not kosher in order for you to know what the real flavor of chazir is and all the other things and say, wow, this is really good. I wish I could have it, but what can I do? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to. Now you're rewarded. It's kosher lechatchila to have this. I'm not so sure. One thing maybe still bothers me, and that is the name. To call it chazir, in small kosher. You can call it something else. And at the bottom say imitation of something. That's fine. But to call it, to me, a sensitivity. I don't know. But lichora, to eat it, you see, first of all the ingredients are kosher that we know 100%. And even conceptually, lichora shouldn't be a problem. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu left these things in the world, or allowed us to create, in order for us to know what the chazir really tastes like, so we should stay away from it and get rewarded. Comes Rav Eliashiv and says, if it wasn't for what the Chida says, we shouldn't eat things like this. Because in Chulin Mem Daled Amud Beis, the Gemara says, "Harchek min hakiyu umin hadoim melo." Amru Chachamim. Chachamim said, "Stay away from things which are disgusting." HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, "This is disgusting in my eyes. I don't want it in your kitchen." And you say, "No, but I found a way to do it." So what's the chiluk? So why is the shibuta permitted and shibuta has the taste of a chazir? Because the shibuta HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. This is something you're creating. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, and it's kosher. Why not? Go ahead and eat it. Enjoy. But when you're saying, I'm in a pursuit to find something which is going to be comparable to that thing where HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, no, it's disgusting. Distance yourself with something which is disgusting. Harchek min hakiyur umin hadoy melo. But we have a chida. We have a Chanukah Satorah, and therefore it is kosher lechatchila. אחינו כל בית ישראל נשואים מצר ובשים ירם דימם ביער ובן ביבשה המקום ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצר לרווחם ומאפלה לאויר משיבוד לגאולה אשתה בגול הזמן קוריב ונאמר אמן